Hey guys, Andrew Baxter here, coming to you from the City of Adelaide, and today I get to do one of my favourite jobs in the AIE calendar, and that is to meet and present the recipient of our annual Trader of the Year Award. 2022 was a very challenging year for most investors out there. If we look at the performance of markets around the world, the Australian market, for example, fell by about 3.5%. Over in the US, the S&P 500 dropped by almost 20%. Yet against that incredibly weak backdrop, our Trader of the Year was able to bank a whopping 33% profit on his account. Perhaps more importantly, what that translated into for him was an additional income of almost $1,000 a week coming in from a sideline business, spending a few minutes a day working markets. And that's the reality of what can happen when you upskill and when you learn techniques and strategies that enable you to profit whether the market is moving higher or lower. So what I'd invite you guys to do is help me recognize and congratulate our AIE 2022 Trader of the Year, Torb Stolpe, on a tremendous year of outperformance, great profit banked, and overall success in the markets. Many congratulations, Torb. Well, initial shock is over, and I'm sat here now with a 2022 Trader of the Year, Torb Stolpe. Great to see you again, and great to be back in Adelaide. And again, massive congratulations, buddy.
Thanks, Andrew.
So let's have a bit of a yak about the journey, because it's certainly been an interesting one.
Yeah.
I guess, a good place to start is always, what was your reasoning for reaching out to us in the first place and joining Cashflow On Demand with us?
We were living in Brisbane. It was about 2017. I was really looking for something else to upskill myself. And I can't remember, Andrew, how I came across your session, but I went to it. I think it was in Brisbane. And it was a Robert Kiyosaki event.
That's exactly right. I was about to tell you that. It was at Robert Kiyosaki's event.
And you came on, and Cashflow On Demand. And since I had done naked options, and I think you mentioned up there that, what you shouldn't do is trade naked options. And I had done that.
Yeah.
So that's how it started, because I was hungry to learn more. I went to that session, and then I did a Cashflow On Demand, I think early 2018.
It's interesting. I mean, I've worked with Robert on and off for a number of years now, and people are always wanting to hear what he's doing and where it fits. So it's a good message for us, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So I guess having had the benefit of our training and education, looking at the world of naked options now, what do you sort of think when you've sort of looked at what you've done in the past versus the pathway you're on now, say from a safety perspective?
Yeah, I mean, you were right. Knowing what I do now, why would you ever? I mean, that's just taking the risk management and throwing it out through the window. Because if you ever want to do something risky, you trade naked options.
So in terms of your return, I mean, we're talking about Trader of the Year. I'd say you banked 33%. It's about $1,000 a week. Nice little sideline income.
Yeah.
Pays for a few bottles of Chianti. So talking of risk management, and sometimes it's full circle that we go through, what would you say was the biggest learning point for you through our training and education?
If I have to say, the biggest learning is accept the risk when you enter the trade. Set your exit position, like you taught us. When you enter the trade, don't set that exit point when you're in the trade.
Yep.
Because when you're in the trade, you're so emotional. But I think that's what really.
I think that's the genesis of it, really, isn't it? If you can detach the emotion and objectively look at what you want to do before you get in the trade, it's far easier to then be able to manage the position. Whereas a lot of people, I guess, that haven't been trained by professional traders get caught up in that emotional day-to-day looking at the market, the ups and downs, and talk themselves into staying in trades far longer than they should. That's interesting, and I think for a lot of people that come through our program, Torb, risk management is probably one of the biggest revelations, because success in markets is not by accident. And again, if you consider you've outperformed the S&P 500 by over 50% for the year.
That's amazing.
And it's not by holding on and letting it recover, it's by taking very active steps. Tell us a little bit about some of the nuances of what you've been doing with your strategy. What's your favorite strategy right now?
My favorite strategy is the V8. I've done really well. I've analyzed all my trades I've done, and number one is the V8. Number two is credit spreads. Number three, I think, it was actually straight shares.
Yep.
So I've adjusted my trading a bit.
How have you found the support from the team at Australian Investment Education? Because obviously your journey has shifted a bit from coming in and on board to into some fairly sophisticated strategies. How have you found the support from the team as you've transitioned that?
Yeah, outstanding. It's nothing like it. I mean, I did training to learn how to do naked options training. Back then. That company's not around anymore. And that was a training package and see you later. You got your manual and see you later.
Yep.
I can ring you guys, email you guys, anytime really. And as Mitch know, I prefer sometimes the email because then I have it in writing.
Yep.
With age, you tend to become a bit forgetful. So that's why I tend to email more, but I can always ring Mitch or Andrew. So support is outstanding, and your weekly classroom and the podcasts and the daily trade recommendation. I haven't seen anything else out there like it.
So if you were talking to somebody that perhaps was looking at what we do here at Australian Investment Education and maybe they were sitting on the fence, second guessing, maybe they'd heard bad things from a friend about investing in the stock market, what advice would you give them based on your experience with us?
Well, I mean, if you look at me, the S&P or the American super funds, we call it, they returned minus 23% last year, and I've achieved plus 30 odd. And I've done this, for 4 years? And all of those people who are fund managers don't do this for a living. So what that means is that take control of your own destiny. You need to upskill yourself, and that starts with learning about money, but then also learning about investing. And don't believe what everybody else says to you, or don't believe what you read on the first page of the news. I'm a living proof of this, that you can take destiny in your own hands. I'm not super rich, but taking the money away from those super fund managers and managing it myself has been the best decision I have made. So for people who are sitting on the fence, by joining your company and learning through you guys, you learn and you guys hold the hands. And also one thing I would say is I've been to many of your live boot camps. So, and you have the Facebook forum, and we have groups, because you can communicate and ask feedback or ask questions to the fellow investors. So we're like a little family.
That's right. That peer group support sometimes
so
means a lot.
Even though you sit home by yourself trade, you're part of a family, and that is key.
Yeah.
Because when I did those naked options, they didn't have that facility.
No. Sounds like
once you learned, you got your manual, off you go.
Good. Well, again, many congratulations, Torb Stolp, Australian Investment Education Trader of the Year 2022. Fantastic return, outperformed the market by a shade over 50%. I think we might be overlapping with our time in Europe this year, so let's have a couple of Negronis and trade in Florence. That sounds like a plan.
That sounds like we're going to be there at the same time.
We'll make it happen, my friend. Many congratulations, and thanks very much for joining us today. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much,
Cheers,
Andrew.
Torb. Thanks.